Hello, and welcome to Relatively Ordinary. Carl.
And I'm Betsy.
Hey, Betsy.
How's it going, Carl?
I am giddy with excitement because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and my Patriots going up. They're going to win their 7th Super Bowl today.
Okay, even though the Seahawks are favored.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm calling it right now. The more people that talk about the Seahawks, the more people that glaze the Seahawks, as their son would say, the better I feel.
All right. So how much would you be willing to wager on this game with the Patriots winning?
$0.00.
Okay, that's how much you believe in them.
Yes. No, that's how much I don't believe in sports betting. I don't like, especially, it is kind of fun. I'm not a gambler, so I don't like to do it. But when my team is playing, I do not want to bet.
Oh, why is that?
Because you're either betting rationally, which means you might bet against your team.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, am I rooting to win my bet or am I rooting for the team?
This is true.
Right?
Okay.
And then it just takes away from the enjoyment of watching the game. I just want the pure enjoyment of sitting down and watching my boys go play football.
Okay.
And this team had no business being here.
Yeah.
So it's all gravy.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's fun.
Cool. So what'd you think of the weekend? Have a good time?
Yeah, it was great. It was cold.
Yes, it was cold.
Yeah, we did some good skiing at Sugarloaf and good family ski day.
Yeah, got to hang out with some friends and it was fun overall.
Yeah.
The kids are definitely surpassed me as far as skiing, both in confidence and, I would say, I don't know, do you think their technical skills are as good as mine too? I mean, I'm more cautious for sure, and my vision compared to theirs is crap, so I'm much more cautious. But I don't know. Do you think the technical skills?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, personally, I think my technical skills as a skier are better than they've ever been.
Okay.
I think I actually get a better, more technical.
Can I pause here though? I didn't ask about your technical skills.
Well, I'm just saying you're asking about technical skills and I'm relating it to my own personal experience with technical skills.
Okay. So that comes with maturity.
I think that I feel that my technical skills are better than they've ever been, but my raw athleticism and strength and flexibility and everything else, reaction time,
down the tubes,
and vision, as you mentioned. So I do think that technically you are a better skier than the kids, but
gotcha.
They can just throw themselves down now and react to whatever happens, and then they're like Gumby.
Yeah, actually, we were the only ones who fell too.
Yeah.
Partly assessing what the terrain was like. We were the guinea pigs.
The guinea pigs,
But at the same rate, our ability to react to that is less than
the 45-degree pitch that looks like it's glare ice. Turns out it's ice.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we walked away uninjured and had fun. But I'm like, you guys see down there.
Yeah.
My legs are going to burn and I can't see anything.
The end of me being better than them is coming.
Yeah, it really is.
Faster than I expected. But I'm here.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's what, all those lessons and dragging them out there was worth.
Yep.
So, all right. So my question for you to start us off is, what is something that you are nostalgic about from your childhood?
Well, so many things.
Okay, well, you just have to choose one.
I think there is when you have a beautiful summer day with calm winds, blue skies, bright, warm sunshine. There's a smell that comes out of the pine trees.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It comes, we have probably 1,500 pine trees behind us in our woods back here. And by the way, I did kind of count them, so I know it's about 1,500.
I wasn't going to question that. I didn't really care.
It's an estimate, but it's a pretty good estimate.
Okay. It's a lot.
But so that, we get that smell here, and it always brings me back to my grandparents' camp. and up on the up by the ponds, and there was just something about being up there with those gigantic tall trees in the summertime with the sunlight filtering through.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
nice.
the warmth of the ground, the needles on the ground coming up, and it just, that smell is my happy place. Like,
Yeah.
when I die, that's where I'm gonna go. And
how do you know? I mean, someone else is going to be in charge about where you go, right?
No, I'm calling my own shots on this one.
Okay, well, just put your wishes in writing.
Yeah,
I'll take care of it.
Yeah, they got bigger things to worry about. They're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you go. Okay, but those Epstein people, we're gonna need a word. So, yeah.
That's what? I'm not following that last little bit you gave.
How are you not following?
It just didn't make sense to me.
We're waiting in line for the final judgment, and the number comes up.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's like, man,
well, no,
this guy was, he didn't really do much, but he didn't do any bad things. So, yeah, sure.
Gotcha. So you're thinking your afterlife will be hanging out there. I thought you meant your dead body wanted to be up by the camp.
I don't care what happens to my dead body.
Okay.
Man. It's like, grind it up and put it out with the compost.
Grind it up. Oh, that sounds too much work.
No, actually, I do want you to plant a tree over my compost.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In the pines. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I gotcha. We were talking about afterlife versus, who's actually going to take care of your remains. Okay. You're also reminding me of the people you see in the videos on social media where they're holding the coffee and talking, and you're just anticipating it spill everywhere. You're shaking your tea around like it's going to get everywhere. So
this is like
I just want to warn you, don't over jostle that.
This sounds kind of like maybe there's like a psychological thing going on. A little
no, there's
anxiety.
There's intervention coming.
Anxiety for Betsy.
No, you need some intervention. I just don't want you to get hot liquid on you.
It would not be the first time.
Okay.
It will not be the last.
It could burn. Yeah, so
cool. What about you? Any good nostalgia you want?
I think a lot of it comes down to cooking. My mom was a good cook. My grandmother used to make fudge every Christmas.
Going back to smell too. Right?
Oh, always, right? It's most of our sensory connections, like from touch and sight, it has to go through 3 different neural connections, and our smell is 2. And I think that's why it stimulates strong memories. I mean, if we're thinking about the actual neuroscience of it. But I do love that there was always this great family community around food. And my mom's mom was not a great cook. And, we used to have these parties where if you think about party food that's there was a lot of that, like pigs in a blanket type thing. Exactly. Like stuff I'm like, don't really
some kind of like Jello thing.
Yes.
Crap in it.
100%. What are like the panettone Christmas thing, like all the stuff that I'm like, I'd rather not eat that. But it was just, the nostalgia of everyone getting together and being, with each other.
That reminds me of like Andy's mints. If I have one of those like Andy's candies, that brings me back to my famous parties.
Yeah. And Werther's. Oh, yeah. Those are always at my grandmother's house. So, yeah.
Yeah, 20th century, crazy.
20th century.
All right, so our main topic for today, I wanted to talk about couples and finances.
Oh,
and so it's interesting because I think we merged our finances really quickly
pretty traditional
when we got married, and it just felt like the thing to do. It was like, okay, we're married, we're merging finances.
Make it easy.
It also helped that we didn't have much.
No, so in fact, you had more debt and less income than me. So.
It wasn't like we were, we had a lot to figure out. One page on a spreadsheet, kind of.
Yeah.
But we got a shared bank account, a shared checking account, shared credit cards, all that stuff, from the start. And then obviously when we had our first mortgage, it was a shared mortgage.
Yeah.
We've always filed taxes together.
We were early 20s, so it's, that probably factors into it as well.
Yeah. But I know a lot of millennials,
Mhm.
and we're sort of on that millennial Gen
Mhm.
X, bubble line, but
Yeah.
a lot of millennials, like our friends who are younger than us, tend
Mhm.
to default to separate finances.
Yep.
And
And some sort
sometimes,
of shared account that.
yeah, and so they put some effort into, you know, month by month, who's paying the bills, how are we doing this? Do they have
Mhm.
one joint account where they're transferring money in,
Mhm.
or one person paying another? Which, it sounds like a lot of work to me, but I also understand the appeal, especially if people got married a little bit older, they were in established careers, they already had their own spending powers.
Or maybe they were independently wealthy and, prenup, wanted to be a little more autonomous.
Yep,
We know a lot of people like that.
yep, yep, totally.
Not.
So yeah, so I'm just curious, first of all, how how you see it from your perspective
Mhm.
as a woman and as a spouse,
Mhm.
and how you think that, where that came from in your life and history,
Yeah.
and why you feel comfortable, assuming you feel comfortable with
Yeah.
how we do things here.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there's definitely variation and probably less commonly people will have just shared finances by default. I think in my parents' generation, that's what they did. And a lot of times there was, the man of the house is the one who worked outside the home and made most of the income. I know for a good portion of my childhood, my mom was home, and so it's sort of how they operated. And so it I guess I guess I never really thought too hard about it being different than that. And because we probably got those joint accounts when we were 23, 24. Was it even before we were married? Or maybe it was shortly after we were
I don't
married.
think you really can before.
No, it was probably right at, so 25, 6. I have
Yeah.
no idea. It's all a blur. But yes, it was right around that time. We did have separate accounts and we were both contributing to our rent and things like that. But then when we got married, it was just like, sure, let's do this and simplify things. We're filing our taxes jointly. And, we had aligned on how we wanted to spend our money. And a lot of the bigger expenses were shared expenses, like, the car, the rent, travel, whatever. Um, yeah, so I didn't really think about it, and also as I mentioned, we made a comparable amount as far as our salaries. I think I actually made a little more than you, and you had definitely more debt because of school loans, but that quickly changed. So it sort of came to my favor in the long run. But I don't know if I would see benefit in having separate accounts because it's been really important for us to be transparent about how
Hmm.
we want to use our money and how we're saving for the future. And I think I trust you on that side of things. And maybe that's what it comes down to. I'm not saying that people don't trust each other, but that if you're going to have such intimately shared finances, you definitely need to trust the person you're doing that with. And have heard of really ugly situations where people had gambling problems or, went behind their partner's back and used the money in a way that was not, outright and understood by their partner. And, stuff that you end up in a big ugly mess.
Yeah.
And wow, like that level of distrust, like that to me is almost as bad as if you were to cheat on me. Probably worse. If you screwed up our finances, I'd be like, yeah, so you had a crush on that lady, but seriously, don't screw with the future of our children and myself. So, back
Yeah.
up.
The trust piece is huge, because I think, first of all, on the one hand, when we share accounts and we kind of have blend everything together,
Yep.
there's nothing hidden.
Yeah.
So much more
Although
transparency.
in our situation, because of how some accounts were opened, you see some things more than I do. But again, I trust and I can get access to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of. Yes, in terms of there's some things where I'm the primary and you're a
Yes.
secondary, so like you don't see the full.
Yeah.
But it's more, you know, like we see the full spending pattern and
Yep.
have access to all the data.
Yep.
And I've
Yep.
also given you access to like our
Yeah.
budgeting tool that you don't
Oh,
bother to look at.
no, I look at it
Um,
once a year.
well, yeah, my point is that like it's not like you don't have access to anything. There's just some things you're like I don't care, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Because I trust you.
the flip side of like the whole trust thing is like we have to be I, I don't I don't want you to ever feel like I'm up in your business. Like if you're like, oh, I want to, be able to spend money and like not be questioned about what I'm spending money on. Um, and I think for whatever reason in our relationship, like that's just not a thing. Like we don't,
Yeah.
need that. I don't feel like I need that level of independence where I'm like, I don't want to, knowing what I spend my money on. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I can be fully transparent in that, which I think is, relatively rare.
Yeah. No, I guess that's a positive, and some people might not feel as comfortable, especially, I guess, if you had a hobby that was more expensive, you knew that you made enough income to be able to cover it, but you didn't necessarily want your partner to judge you. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see that happening. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I love buying instruments, like my custom guitars, and they cost thousands of dollars. I don't know, making something up. It's not my
But
case.
there again, we don't really like judge each other on that stuff, right? Like, because I
No.
definitely do have some things I spend a
Oh,
little bit more money
like
on,
what?
like
Well,
skiing.
skis. Yeah, this is true.
I
This is
mean,
true. But you're not, it's not egregious,
yeah,
right? I think even for the things I spend, I'm curious what you think I spend frivolous money on, but I don't know. I think we are conscientious of it, and we're grounded in it too, because I think we have the same long-term goals and
yeah,
priorities, which is nice. This is why it's really important to discuss this before you get married. But
yeah,
and I sort of like to get your, because of your background, and you have a lot of knowledge with making good financial decisions and finance management, and personal wealth management, things along that lines. I kind of like running things by you, like, oh, is this a smart decision, and or this is what I want to do. What do you think? Can I do it more economically? Is this not worth it? Especially when it comes to using money to grow wealth,
yeah,
as far as 401ks, things like that. But no, I mean, I don't really run purchases by you unless they're maybe multiple hundreds of dollars or over $1,000. I'm not going to tell you if I'm like buying a muffin or
yeah.
a sweater. Like, I don't know. What do I
Well,
spend money on?
it's interesting because I think it gets a kind of something else I wanted to talk about a little bit is,
Mm-hmm.
how do couples align their goals, which you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and also values. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this goes back to, remember we had as a quick bite question a couple
Yeah.
episodes ago, we talked about like, what is the most amount of money you would spend on a lamp,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, good
And
question.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
so how do you think, I mean, I guess just that, how do you think couples can
Mm.
effectively align on goals and values when it comes to money, and ideally not turn it into a fight?
Yeah. Well, I think it helps that we both work and contribute. And you make
Mhm.
more money than me, but I have had opportunities where, for a short period of time, I made more money, but I've had different sort of benefits, whether it was benefits of time, benefits of resources, like physical benefits from work. Hopefully I can help pay for our kids' college tuition, that kind of thing right now. And, I think that allows some mutual respect for our contribution. And I also, so, getting a sense of, our your personal expectations for employment. I'm not driven by making the most amount of money in my career, but I certainly want to make enough to prove that I have self-respect for like the education
Mhm.
and energy I'm putting into my career. And I know some people have different values than that. So, you need to, I think, appreciate that. I also think it's important to ask about long-term goals. Where do you see your, self in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What do you think about retirement? What do you hope to do to support your children if you have children? Thinking about how you would, like to spend money. I think for me, and probably more so than you, I really love travel. And to me, I'd rather spend some of the money I have now on those experiences than sock it away. Or, I see it's worthwhile to invest in, doing some upgrades for the house versus, getting the next toy. I don't care about the fancy car or having a fourth pair of skis. I don't even know a second pair. But, how that looks and do they align? And if they're really disparate, it's probably important to have separate accounts. Like if I like to spend money on things that you didn't value and thought was not a good way to use our finances, then I should have a, sort of stipend based on my income and how I want to spend my money. And then you'd have yours.
Yeah. Yeah, just have, like, matching fun money accounts.
Yeah, but let's not do that. It sounds like such a pain in
No, no, definitely not. No.
the ass.
Well, I think, it's interesting when you talk about, retirement because
Mhm.
retirement for me, I've saved for retirement since I started working out of college.
Mhm.
I I in hindsight, I wish I had saved more earlier, but I also was paying down a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
was very responsible in paying down debt, and I prioritized that, and I took a
Mhm.
lot of pride in when I did pay off my school loans and,
I think you get
um
smarter when you get older because you just gotta
yeah.
you gotta face the realities.
But I think, retirement's an interesting thing. It's like it I'm still a long ways off,
Mhm.
but it's actually become more concrete for me. I can actually think about, it used to be sort of like a dream. It was a fantasy.
Yeah.
And, oh, these are all the things I might want to do and this is where I want to
Mhm.
live and all that. Now I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, you can really imagine it.
actually, I see, the point at which I'm in this house potentially and
Mhm.
thinking about retirement. What do I do? Do I want to stay in this house? Do I want to keep, it's a great place, but it's an expensive place to live. There's high
Mhm.
taxes here and
Lot
there's
of
a
maintenance.
lot of maintenance. So do I want to do that?
Mhm.
So I think you have to kind of, again, kind of goes back to trust, but like you have to just keep communicating and keep having those
Mhm.
conversations because if your idea of retirement was completely different than my idea of retirement, then, it doesn't mean we can't have a good marriage and a successful relationship, but even how we think about retirement and how we
Mhm.
prioritize, like, if you want to have that dream retirement, then you've got to be willing to, maybe buy fewer clothes, buy fewer skis,
Mhm.
do less things now
Yeah.
than for later. And I think
Mhm.
it's just a constant sort of, you know,
Monitoring.
negotiation in the
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah. It's interesting too because when we were first married, I mean, I felt, I don't know if you felt this, I can't say we, I guess, for this, but I felt like we were a long way off from financial security, mountains of school loans. At that point, this was before the housing bubble. Real estate was ridiculous. And you had these notions from our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation that, you buy the home and you stay at the same company for years and years and you have a pension and, you you start to you get yourself really rooted and you're able to save and gosh, like that's not the truth and it wasn't for us. I mean, we had, already started a family before we could even think about buying a house and even then it was a huge stretch and we had got the tax credit, so we got really lucky in that regard, but and we still had lots of debt and I don't know, I felt like I had to appreciate every little milestone and know that it's a process. So it is important to, make smart decisions, but not rush it because while I can kind of consider and wrap my head around retirement, I still don't know what that's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what the economy is going to be like? Who knows if I'll want the same things out of it. But I know for sure, in having seen my parents go through this, I want enough security that it's not a stressful transition.
Yeah. Well, I think the financial security is, at the most basic level, it's knowing that my basic needs are going to be met, right? I'll
Yes.
have a roof over my head. I'll be able to afford to eat and take care of myself, medical care, have
Yes.
some money left over for, enjoyment and recreation.
Yeah.
But I think the next level is getting to a point where you have control. You're not
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of one thing after another put
Mhm.
through, the ringer of like, here's an unexpected medical bill. And now I have to we have to sell one of our cars and now we're a one car household.
Mhm.
And, you know, that means that, we can't like work or see the grandkids or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, that leads to, okay, well now we have even less income and we can't keep this house because
Mhm.
tax rates are going up or electricity rates are going up or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people are dealing with right now. And
Yeah.
I think, I would love to think that we can get ahead of that, but it's going to be another
Yeah.
15, 20 years of work
Yeah.
to do that.
Who knows? Who knows
Yeah.
too? Feels like there's a lot of unexpected things.
Yeah. Um, so I'm curious, like based on, this conversation and kind of our personal experience, what advice would you give to a young couple
Mhm.
now, in terms of how they should be thinking about their financial life together?
Oh, I think a lot of communication. I also think that everyone should learn to balance their own budget and live within their
Mm,
means.
mm-hmm.
So
So,
while those means might change, it's really good to get a sense of what your budget is, how much you're spending on things, trying to save for long-term goals, making sure you set up some retirement fund, even if you're only contributing a little bit. Get yourself established before you combine forces and do what works. I think the reality sets in where the shared expenses becomes almost necessary when you have kids. And if you're raising a family, you're both needing to contribute. And that contribution on my end changed. It shifted quite a bit because I was working part time or I was taking some time off with my maternity leave. And single parenting in that situation would have been really tough for me. And it would have changed factors. But no, we had decided that's what we were doing. And so I didn't have to think about what my contribution was financially because there were other things that I was adding to that scenario with my, being a mother and all of those pieces. And I think having some clear expectation of what your long-term goals are. I think it's good to set things up and smooth out the rough patches, right? If you're a big spender on something or you have certain things you did as a single person and now you're needing to do that with a partner, you might need to come up with a different game plan so that
yeah,
you're respecting each other's
yeah.
wishes.
I mean, that's the thing about, committing to marriage.
Uh-huh.
you are marrying the full person,
Mhm.
and that includes their history, their
Mhm.
baggage,
Their
their
family.
family, their and it may include like, some debt. I mean, you mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
You married a bag of debt when you married me.
Yeah, and you had to deal with some of the debt and stress, being associated with me and my family at some point. So
Yeah.
there's, I think it ebbs and flows, right? I'm curious, have I ever made a purchase or a financial decision? You're like, God damn it.
No, not really. I mean, I think the pattern the pattern with us tends to be more that I think you will occasionally like you will sort of frequently be like, "Oh, you know what? I need this. I want this." And make small purchases. You're very, I think, very frugal and thoughtful about the purchases you make, but you may make them on a regular cadence.
Yeah.
So like it's sort of, stacks up in the budget over time.
Yeah. It's
Whereas I'm
looking
more
at big
likely
picture.
to just be like one day, just be like, you know what? I need a new ski jacket. I deserve it. And then I go spend, a bunch of money on a ski jacket.
Hmm.
And I take care of my stuff and I have things for a long time.
Hmm.
But I think I'm much more of the like big splash purchase where I'm just
Hmm.
like, yeah, like, I deserve it.
Yeah. Big splash purchases scare me.
Yeah. And I have to talk you into that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, just buy the stupid thing. Like you make enough money, you're an adult, just buy it.
I know, I get sticker shock. I also think, if I were to go see a therapist and they were like, "Tell me about your childhood traumas," I have inherited this message I can't break the cycle of um that money. I guess I couldn't even put it into words that, I am lucky to have the affordances of things, right? You make more income than me. And so, and the situation was true in my parents' household. And it was used almost as a manipulation and a power thing, and maybe unconsciously, but I think that's just what happens, right? And I internalized that message. And so I will, one, I think it makes me a little more frugal. I know how much I make and how much I want to spend on things. And then also, I think I get the sense like if you're like, okay, we got to rein it in, or,
Yeah.
I'm worried about this, or, just thinking about expenses and, who's making what and paying for what. Then I'm like, "Oh my god." I go on high alert and I'm questioning all the things, and I'm, next thing you know, I'm like scraping the bottom of the barrel and scrimping and saving and
Yeah.
trying to, be as frugal as possible, and, don't want to upset the situation. And I think that's just
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
situation. It ticks you off. I know it ticks you off, but I'm like a hot or
Well,
cold. I'm
I
like
don't think
one
I
or the
wouldn't say it
other.
ticks me off. I just find it,
Irrational?
that's a point that I think we still haven't totally learned how to communicate on,
Uh-huh.
because what will happen is we'll have maybe a stretch where we spend a bunch of money because we
Mhm.
take a vacation or we have an unexpected expense or something.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to just tamp down expenses, right? So it's
Mhm.
like, let's make sure we pack lunches versus stopping at a
Mhm.
restaurant or something
Mhm.
like that.
And
And
then I go all in.
yeah, and it's like I feel like I say like, "Hey, we just need to tamp it down," and you're like, next thing you know, you're running like our Ziploc bags to a dishwasher to like reuse them or something, and I'm like, I didn't really mean
The
that.
dented cans were 50% off.
Yeah, yeah. Like may have botulism, but um, yeah. So yeah, I think it's yeah, it's just a challenge, right? So the
Yeah.
communication. To your point is you just have to kind of consistently keep communicating
Yes.
about it as a couple.
And being self-aware of your own,
Yeah.
you know, needs and issues.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have to go, we got a Super Bowl to go win,
Okay.
so
Oh, you're winning
yep,
this?
I'm gonna
Okay.
start wrapping us up here, but what are you still chewing on from this conversation?
Mm, I guess what I'm chewing on is that I'd be curious how other folks do it. What works for them and how it goes down. Does
Yeah,
it cause any stress? I don't really feel any stress about how we do our finance, how it's constructed. I wouldn't change it, but I'm curious.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a critically important thing to figure out in your marriage. I think it's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
you
I
know,
see. I hear
domestic tranquility is
totally.
dependent on this.
Things can go completely south
Yeah,
if it's just mismanaged or I don't know. There's not clear communication.
yeah. And what do you feel is relatively ordinary?
Huh, I mean, it's just part of a relationship. Even if you're just living with a roommate, that's probably been the hardest is
Yeah.
when you're living with someone you're not, on the same page about and, they're gosh, like leaving the windows open because it's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the hell? Dollars out the window on the heating or, leaving the lights on or something where you got to have some clear communication. So it's just part of adulting,
Yeah.
those finances.
Adulting.
Yeah.
Uh. All right. Well, good talk. Good
Mm-hmm.
show.
Yep.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.